Hello, boys and girls. Our next storybook is Wag. And the big question is, why does Earl wag his tail? It was written by Patrick McDonnell. And of course, here we have, what do we call this page? It has the title or name of the story, has the author, has the place where it was put together, and that is our, that's right, it's our title page. Look, there's Earl. Shh, let's not wake him. I don't know if I can get this close enough for you to see the picture. There he is. I want you to watch what he does with his tail all the time in the story. All right, we start here. Now, when we move over here, oops, he's up. Wow, look at his tail go. And look at the words they use for flipping it back and forth. Frip, frip, frip. There goes his tail, just back and forth. What makes Earl's tail wag? Frip, frip, frip. I know. And look at the cat. He's so anxious to give an answer. Well, Mooch, what is it? I forgot. I forget. But he's just like us. I want to. Earl's tail wags when he's eating. Frip, frip, frip. Back and forth it goes. Or when he's playing ball. Frip, frip, frip. Or just sitting in a field of flowers. Frip, frip, frip. But what makes Earl's tail wag? Mooch? Yes? Now, where did he go? Earl's tail wags for belly rubs, frip, frip, frip. Chewy toys, squeak, 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 squeak. Snacky snacks, frip, frip, frip. The tail's always going back and forth. And even for snowflakes, frip, 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 and look at him. He's jumping up to catch the snowflakes in his mouth. I bet you did that when you got to go out in that little tiny bit of snow we had this year. But what makes Earl's tail wag? And Mooch is going, ooh, 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 ooh. All right, Jules, you tell us. I don't know. Ooh, 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 ooh. So Jules says, I don't know. And Mooch is going, ooh, ooh, me, 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 me. Mooch? It's a secret. And you can't really read it very well, boys and girls. It's very, very light. You can barely see it. It wags for his Ozzy. Frip, 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 frip. Frip, frip, frip. He's giving his Ozzy a big old dog kiss, right? Yeah. Sometimes it seems to wag for nothing at all. Frip, frip, frip. But what makes Earl's tail wag? I know, I know, I know. Okay, Mooch, please tell us. Um, um, I know, I know, I know. It's, 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 it's love. And of course, Mooch is right. Love is the answer. Frip, frip, frip. And there's Mooch and Earl hugging each other. And that's the deer story called Wags. And it ends with this. Frip, frip, frip. This is, what do we call this part of our storybook? The front cover, the spine, the back cover, and, of course, the title page. Important parts of a book. And then, of course, we have all the text, the words. And do you remember what we call the person who writes the words? That's right, the author. Sometimes the author is also the illustrator. And do you remember what the illustrator does? He gives us the pictures that have to match the words. If the illustrator had Earl digging for bones instead of going frip, 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 that wouldn't match the story, would it? No. If I say, the author says, look at the yellow ball, and the illustrator drew or illustrated a green square, that wouldn't be good. It wouldn't match the story. So the illustrator's pictures have to match the author's words. That's very important when writing a book. Okay, I'll see you in another story.